Have you ever been shaken by just a few words, an insult, a look, a passing failure, only to feel your peace vanish like mist in the sun? The Buddha once said, "Just as a solid rock is not shaken by the storm, even so the wise are not moved by praise or blame." Today, we return to that rock. In Buddhist teaching, the mind is like a still lake. When the waters are calm, they reflect the sky clearly, but when stirred, even beauty becomes distorted. This is not just poetry. It is a path, a way of living in a world that trembles without trembling with it. So stay close, because what you're about to hear isn't just a lesson, it is a return to your own stillness. I want to invite you to listen to this story, because stories have a way of opening a gate the intellect alone cannot unlock. They don't lecture us, they mirror us. So let me tell you about a young seeker named Eli, who once came to a forest monastery high in the hills to study with an old Zen master known simply as Soto. Eli, like many of us, did not come seeking enlightenment in lofty terms. He came because he was tired of being shaken by everything. A harsh word from a stranger, a disagreement with a friend, a failed attempt at something meaningful. It all left ripples that disturbed his peace for days. One morning, as mists curled like silk around the trees, Eli asked Master Soto, "Please teach me how not to get angry. I want to master my emotions." Soto said nothing, but gestured for Eli to follow. They walked in silence through the dew-laden forest until they reached a small lake. Its surface was still and mirrored the sky like glass. Without a word, Soto bent down, picked up a small stone and dropped it gently into the water. Ripples spread, then faded. The surface became still again. "Anger," Soto finally said, "is like this stone. If the lake is shallow, the stone makes great waves. But if the lake is deep and wide, it swallows the stone with grace." Eli looked puzzled. The master continued, "Don't try to stop the stone. That is the way of resistance. Instead, become the lake. Let your mind grow deep and still enough to absorb what comes without being overwhelmed." This was not the answer Eli expected. He wanted a technique, a secret, a mantra. Instead, he received an image, one he couldn't stop seeing. For days it stayed with him, the stone, the ripples, and the returning stillness. And he began to understand. The practice wasn't about eliminating emotion. It was about expanding the container. A wide lake doesn't fear the stone. So each morning, Eli would sit by the lake, not to master anger, but to understand spaciousness. He would watch the breeze, the birds, the leaves floating. And gradually, when disturbances came, he noticed he reacted less, not by suppression, but by presence. The lake became his teacher, its silence, his scripture, and Soto's words, a mantra of his own making. Be the lake, not the stone. This story is a metaphor in full bloom. The stone is the moment, a comment, a memory, a fear. It may drop suddenly into your life, but what it stirs depends not on its weight, but on the depth of your inner stillness. The lake teaches us that peace does not mean the absence of disturbance. It means having the capacity to meet disturbance without losing clarity. So, I ask you gently now, how deep is your lake today? And more importantly, what are you doing each morning to deepen it? After hearing the story of the still lake, I invite you now to turn inward, not to wrestle with your mind, but to sit beside it as you would a quiet stream. The mind, when not resisted or forced, reveals itself. In the teachings of the Buddha, true strength is not brute control, but luminous clarity. The Buddha reminded us again and again, peace is not found in controlling the world, but in understanding the mind. Let us begin with the first insight. Real strength comes from mastering detachment. In an age of constant stimulation, likes and dislikes, applause and criticism, we often ride waves not of our choosing. But the power of detachment, as taught in Buddhism, is not emotional numbness. It is an expansive compassion that holds space without drowning in it. It is the wisdom of being so rooted in truth that not every wind topples your branches. Picture again the still lake. Winds may rush across its surface, leaves may fall, rain may ripple, but the lake does not lose itself. So it is with our inner life. A sharp word, a failure, a forgotten kindness, these do not harm us unless we grasp them. Suffering is not the rain, it is the clinging to dry skies. And so, to detach is not to run from life, but to see it clearly, to let it pass without fastening it to our hearts. Detachment is sacred watching. In mindfulness, we call this bare attention, a gaze that rests upon what arises, yet does not declare ownership. To say, this anger is here, rather than, I am angry, is to step from storm into sky. It is to discover that our nature is not the emotion, but the awareness that sees. And so we come to the second insight. Separate your emotion from the event. This simple but profound act returns you to freedom. You are not your feelings. Emotions, like clouds, move across the vastness of your being. You are not the thunderstorm. You are the sky that allows it. When hardship arises, pause and speak inwardly. This is sorrow visiting. This is fear moving through. Address your feelings as honored guests, not unwanted enemies. Give them room and watch how they soften. This is not suppression, which buries pain. This is transformation, which embraces pain without identification. The Buddha taught that suffering grows not just from pain, but from misidentifying with it. The thought, I am broken, wounds deeper than the brokenness itself. But the moment we say, I see the brokenness within me, we become larger than it. We become the observer, not the object. Bring this into your day. When you feel tension in your body, stop, breathe. Whisper, what am I feeling now? Can I stay with it just for a moment without changing it? Can I let it move without chasing it? These questions are not escapes, they are gateways. Between what touches us and how we respond lies the ground of awakening. Imagine now that you are inside your home, watching rain slide down the window. The sky weeps, but you are dry. You see it. You hear its rhythm. But it does not drench you. This is emotional mastery. It is not retreat. It is sacred distance, intimacy without entanglement. These practices are not abstract. They are for when your heart races from judgment, when your plans collapse, when you feel unseen or unloved. These are the moments to become the lake again, to let the stone of insult fall and still remain clear, to feel a storm inside and yet not become it. So I offer this not just as a teaching, but as an invitation. Try it. Sit with your next discomfort. Breathe with it. Let it name itself. Do not resist. Do not believe. Simply see. In this, you do not lose control. You return to the deepest control, the freedom to be steady in a moving world. Next lessons, the stillness of the face and the silence of listening. In the practice of mindfulness, even our face can become a mirror of our inner training. Imagine this. You are faced with a difficult conversation, or someone hurls anger your way. How does your face respond? In Buddhist teachings, the face is not just a social mask. It is an extension of mind. A face twisted with irritation reveals not truth, but reactivity. But a calm face, soft yet steady, sends a quiet message. I remain anchored. Mastering the calm face is not about suppression, but observation. It is not a performance, it is a practice. When we pause, breathe, and soften the forehead, the eyes, the mouth, we are not pretending calm, we are inviting it. In Zen temples, monks are often taught to return to the mirror, not for vanity, but to watch the tiny reflexes that arise when no one is looking. A furrowed brow may reveal tension before the mind admits it. A tight jaw may whisper fear we haven't named yet. The mirror becomes a silent teacher. It asks, "What does your face teach the world about your mind?" This teaching echoes the Buddha's insight that the body and mind are deeply entwined. The expression we carry is often the final echo of a cascade of thoughts and emotional habits. If we can begin at the surface, training our expressions to rest in neutrality, we may slowly retrace our steps inward, calming the storm at its root. A calm face becomes a kind of mudra, a silent gesture of inner resolve. It becomes a refuge not only for us, but for others who feel safe in its presence. In moments of stress, try this. Instead of speaking back, soften your face. Feel the muscles around your eyes loosen. Let your mouth rest in a gentle neutrality. This is not passivity. It is power without threat. It is presence that holds space. As the Buddha taught, the wise are not those who speak swiftly, but those who see clearly before reacting. The face becomes not a battleground, but a resting place of wisdom. And so we come to the fourth gateway, listening. We live in a world where everyone wants to be heard, but few know how to truly listen. In the teachings of the Buddha, deep listening is an act of compassion. It is not waiting to speak. It is emptying oneself to receive. The Buddha listened to suffering not with answers, but with presence. And from that presence, healing arose. The old saying goes, "You have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason." Use them in that ratio. Listening more than speaking is not weakness. It is a discipline. The one who listens gathers truth. The one who speaks too much often scatters it. Deep listening is also a form of humility. It acknowledges that we do not know everything, that truth may be carried in the voice of another. This humility softens the ego and expands the heart. The practice of listening becomes a meditation in itself, a mindfulness of the other. Practice this today. In conversation, pause before responding, not to delay, but to digest. Can you hear not only the words, but the fear behind them, the longing, the confusion? This kind of listening is sacred. It is not agreement, but deep attention. It is saying, "I see you," without needing to fix you. And if you practice listening long enough, something strange happens. Your need to dominate shrinks. Your wisdom grows. And the world begins to speak back, not just through words, but through silence, intuition, and presence. So keep your face soft. Keep your ears open. These are not minor acts. They are radical. In a world that reacts, you become the one who reflects. In a world that rushes to be heard, you become the one who hears. This is the face of mindfulness. This is the ear of compassion. And through them both, the world softens in your presence. Return to your mirror, your silence, your breath. Let them guide you back to the still lake, that place within you where nothing needs to be said, and yet everything is understood. Now let us continue deeper into the art of inner mastery, with 2 vital disciplines drawn from Buddhist wisdom: preparation for adversity and the liberation found in non-reactivity. The Buddha taught that suffering often arises not just from the event itself, but from our resistance to it. To suffer is human, but to be shocked by suffering is a sign we have forgotten the nature of life. This brings us to a profound insight. True steadiness is not found in avoiding storms, but in having already made peace with their possibility. Imagine walking through a forest. If you expect only clear skies and smooth paths, every root and sudden rain will feel like betrayal. But if you walk knowing that storms may come, your steps are grounded. This is the practice of mentally rehearsing adversity, not as a form of pessimism, but of preparation. The Stoics called this premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. But centuries before them, the Buddha quietly invited his disciples to do the same, to meditate on aging, sickness, and death, not to be morbid, but to be free. By holding space each day for what might go wrong, we soften its impact. We reduce surprise, which is the fuel of panic. The monk who reflects daily on impermanence is not sad. He is steady. When the cup breaks, he does not curse fate. He simply sees the cup was always destined to shatter. And so it is with life. To prepare the mind for difficulty is to seed an inner stillness that no external tremor can shake. To go deeper, consider this. When we imagine future pain, we are not summoning suffering, we are rehearsing grace. Just as a musician does not step onto the stage without practice, the practitioner does not wait for chaos to seek calm. They train in peace so they can respond in peace. This is not worry, it is wisdom. By making space for the full range of life's weather, we are not bracing against it, but bowing before it with dignity. The sixth teaching is equally potent. Do not hate those who hate you. In fact, do not even react, for reaction is a thread that binds. Every time we return anger for anger, scorn for scorn, we tighten the cord between ourselves and that which disturbs us. This is not the way of liberation. In one discourse, the Buddha spoke of a man being struck by an arrow. He asked his disciples, "If a man is shot with an arrow, is it wise to ask who shot it and why before removing it?" Likewise, when hatred comes our way, our job is not to strike back, it is to remove the arrow, to recognize this hate is pain, not truth, and I need not carry it. When we do not react, we become unshackled. The person who insults you is trying to hand you a weight. If you do not lift it, you do not bear it. This is not passivity, it is power. It is choosing to stay light when others want you heavy. Train in this way. When insulted, pause. Feel the burn, but do not flinch. Watch the reaction arise, but do not obey it. Say inwardly, "This is anger. I see it. I do not need to become it." Smile, not in mockery, but in recognition. This too is a moment of practice. In truth, the world is full of people projecting their hurt. To absorb it is to carry burdens not yours. To retaliate is to multiply suffering. But to step aside, to breathe, to release, to continue in peace, is to model the very freedom others have forgotten. Even deeper still, reflect. Hatred, when not returned, dissolves. Its fire needs your fuel to burn. But your stillness, your refusal to engage, is a sacred firebreak. It does not mean injustice is ignored. It means you are no longer imprisoned by it. When you do not react, you begin to respond. And from response, wisdom flows. These two insights, expecting the storm and not becoming the storm, are wings of the same bird. Together, they carry us over the terrain of human experience with a grace that does not deny pain, but no longer fears it. So reflect each morning. What am I prepared to lose today? What insults may come, and how will I meet them? Let the mind rehearse calmly what the heart once feared. And let every interaction become a test of your depth, not in victory, but in non-reaction. You are not here to win arguments. You are here to be free. Finally, let us arrive at two profound insights that complete the circle of inner mastery: the art of releasing what you cannot control, and the discernment of choosing the right people to journey alongside. These are not mere tips for personal growth. They are deep spiritual foundations, tested by time and taught with compassion by the Buddha. To release what lies beyond your control is not an act of weakness, but the highest form of wisdom. The Buddha often reminded us that craving and clinging are the roots of suffering. When we cling to outcomes, expectations, or the opinions of others, we bind ourselves to a wheel that turns outside our will. Life is not something to be forced into order, but something to be met with understanding. The mind that grasps tries to shape reality by force. The mind that understands breathes with reality, in rhythm, not resistance. And so when we let go, not with indifference but with clarity, we unlock a deeper freedom, the ability to act without attachment. Imagine this with the image of planting a seed. You do not scream at the earth to hurry, nor pull at the sprout to make it rise. You water it, you give it sun, and then you wait. You trust in timing. The wisdom of letting go is like this. It is not giving up. It is giving space. It is honoring your part and releasing the rest. This is what the Buddha called right effort, a path where action is guided by intention, not obsession with result. This kind of effort is like pouring clear water into a still bowl. It nourishes without stirring up sediment. It is effort rooted in clarity, not control. Ask yourself each morning, what is within my circle of influence today? What can I tend without clinging to what may or may not bloom? In this practice, you become like the archer described by the Buddha, one who aims with full presence and then releases the arrow without grasping after where it lands. The archer does not control the wind, but they master the steadiness of their hand. The Dhammapada says, "With our thoughts, we make the world." If we can shape our thoughts with mindfulness and let go of the fruits, we purify the soil from which our actions arise. We do not abandon our purpose. We release our compulsion. And from this release, serenity flowers. Letting go is the breath of trust, the exhale of burden. And with each breath, we are made new. This letting go does not mean retreating from effort or love. It means no longer tying your peace to their outcomes. To live this way is not to become careless, but to become caring in a truer way. You can give fully and still remain free. Now turn to the second insight. The people around you are the field in which your thoughts and intentions either thrive or wither. Even the most peaceful garden cannot flourish when ringed with fire. The companions you choose influence the subtle texture of your mind, often more than you realize. This is the truth of Kalyanamitta, noble friendship, as taught by the Buddha. He once declared to his disciple Ananda that spiritual friendship is not half of the holy life, but the whole of it. This is not about surrounding yourself with perfect people, but with those who walk the path with sincerity, humility, and heart. The wrong company clouds our insight. If those near you sow seeds of gossip, negativity, or confusion, your mind will slowly absorb that tone, just as still water becomes murky when stirred. If they speak with harshness or mockery, if they live lost in distraction or complaint, you will feel the heaviness they cast. This is not weakness on your part, it is nature. The company we keep shapes our inner weather. Even noble effort can be drowned in poor soil. One does not blame the seed for failing to grow in stone. One moves the seed to richer earth. Choose those whose presence uplifts your spirit. Walk with those who remind you of silence, of simplicity, of truth. If you find even one person who listens with tenderness, who does not flinch at your honesty, who holds you accountable with love. Cherish them like rare medicine. Their presence will help you remember your better self on days you forget. Good friends nourish the roots of your being. They don't fix your life, but they sit beside you while you heal. And do not be afraid of solitude. The Buddha himself spent long periods walking alone, not out of pride, but from clear seeing. He knew that it is better to walk in solitude than to lose oneself in noise. Solitude is not loneliness when held in mindfulness. It is the chamber in which wisdom germinates. There, the mind has space to settle, and when it settles, it sees. In solitude, we hear the truths drowned out by busyness. We return to the silence beneath all sound. Let this awareness follow you through your day. Who am I becoming in the presence of this person? Do I feel truer to myself or further from it? Am I reacting more or resting more? These are not judgments, they are invitations. Your nervous system recognizes what your mind resists, the energy that nourishes you and the energy that drains you. The presence you keep is the food your spirit eats. Choose nourishment over noise. To let go of control is not to become passive. It is to walk freely, to choose your steps without dragging the future behind you like a chain. And to walk with the right people is not to exclude others. It is to respect the fragile, luminous process of your own becoming. The Buddha taught that just as one lamp may light many others without its flame being diminished, being in the presence of luminous minds only makes your own shine brighter. So, as you greet the day, return to this knowing: I will offer my effort and release what is not mine to hold. I will walk with those who remind me of who I truly am. And if today I walk alone, I will walk as one who carries stillness. The path is never far. It begins under your feet, and with every breath, you are already on it. Let that breath be the first act of letting go. Let your next step be the one that brings you closer to truth. This moment, and this alone, is enough to begin. Before you leave, pause for a breath. Which of these teachings are already blooming in your life? Share in the comments. Your reflection may light the way for someone else. And if these insights have touched something within you, consider liking and subscribing. Not for numbers, but so this space of quiet wisdom can keep growing, like a still lake that welcomes all who thirst for clarity. Thank you